Yo, what's good, y'all? Surprise you, man. And today we just gonna have a little more of a talking session, man. You know what I'm saying? So for those who didn't see Monday Night Raw, like I said, I ain't said nothing. Um, I actually needed to, or I should have uploaded this video about like 4 hours earlier, but I just forgot. I just forgot that I wanted to record this as soon as I could while it's all fresh on my mind. So, what happened on Monday Night Raw? I'm gonna say what happened at the end in the beginning because that was really the only thing that mattered. So at the end of the show, we got Femi and Brock Lesnar. The contract signing, I kid you not, did not get underway. And they got straight to brawling, straight to fighting, straight to throwing them goddamn hands. Even Brock Lesnar picked up the announce. They actually did a spot where I think he put Lesnar pretty much through the announce table by just tackling over him. It wasn't like he picked him up. He just leaped onto Lesnar, and they both went through, or he went through Brock as he went through the table. And Brock and the security's in there separating them corner to corner, and they break a loose a couple times. And then Brock Lesnar throws a freaking chair at him, the rolling chair at him, and it just gets all out of whack, and they just go crazy. And the only problem was it didn't go long. Like, they did all those brawls, but it actually went by really short. So only thing about that was it could have went longer, but they like immediately went off the air once it hit like 9:30 my time. They went off the air. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, it was fun. I'll say I think it's because of the simplicity of this match of just two beasts, the one of new and the one of old, going at it in the center of the ring. I think because people want to see this Titan clash, this Godzilla, King Kong, just the two Titans ripping each other apart. Because it's a very simple story and Paul Heyman is literally doing all the talking. Even though Obafemi can talk, it's funny how they've just really had Paul Heyman do all the talking. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's the one that hypes up the monsters and puts the story over and everything. So yeah, Femi and Brock Lesnar has been the most consistent build to WrestleMania as far as there's nothing that's dipped, there's nothing that's missed, there's nothing that doesn't hit. It always gets you a little nervous. You always get a little excited when Femi and Brock come out there because you just don't know what type of chaos is coming next. So you can feel that anticipation. All right, that was the end of the show. But now the beginning. Because in the middle of the show, it didn't much happen other than my boy I Show Speed ended up getting a match, a 6-man tag at WrestleMania. It's going to be obviously my boy LA Knight as well. And the Usos versus the Vision of Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and the honorary Vision member in I Show Speed. And the crazy thing about it is I think there's going to be a fun match. Speed is pretty athletic, so I think he'll do pretty well in the match with however much he gets to show in the match. And he's trained wrestling before, as you saw in his Speed Goes Pro series. So he has like a little bit of experience. He won't be like a complete newbie, but yeah, it'll be cool to watch that match at WrestleMania. But yeah, that should be fun. And yeah, I just hope this doesn't have. I just don't know. The only criticism for me right now is I just don't really know the end goal for LA Knight though. Like, how long, like, what's the end game to LA Knight versus the Vision? Like, how does this story conclude as far as when is LA Knight is going to be done with the Vision? I have no idea, because some tells me this ain't even the last match for LA Knight and the Vision. And why is LA Knight even with the Usos, considering it's not like LA Knight has a belt that the Vision has, or wants a belt that the Vision has, right? Because it's basically like he's tagging along with the Usos again because of the mutual hatred for the Vision, but I just don't know what the end game is. But anyway, the main event, it wasn't the main event, but what felt like the main event because it was the biggest thing on the show, and that was CM Punk completely going wild, bringing us what I've been looking for since he's came back, and it's that pipe bomb Punk. You know, we got an inkling of it when he did the promo after the Elimination Chamber last year, when he called Rock and Cena the bald frauds and going in on them. And yeah, that was the closest we got to it. This is the first time I really felt we got that pipe bomb Punk, that 2011 to 2013 CM Punk, where he's just basically going off the rails, saying what he wants, pretty much being a man of the people and saying things you wouldn't think he'd be allowed to say. You know what I'm saying? That's that shock value that keeps him special, and he's going to go after whatever he feels is wrong in the company, and he's going to go about saying certain things in a clever, creative way and all this other stuff, and he's going to talk his trash. That's the Punk, specifically that version of him, is what I've been waiting for. So it started, like I said, I keep saying like I said, I haven't even said anything. I will not get this entire, I don't know what was on my arm. I will not get this entire promo right, but I'll do the best I can from my good old fashioned memory, which I eat my blueberries, which I heard helps with memory, so I should be all right. Anyway, started off with CM Punk. I think he was saying like the obvious, like, giving Houston their credit, like there's a lot of history and how there's certain things he's done right, or there's certain things that's gone his way in Houston, and there's certain things that haven't. And in these moments, being world champion, he kind of wonders what the legends before him would do, because you can't help but compare yourself to, like, guys like Harley Race and stuff like that, and what would they do. And he kind of dreams of being like certain guys and stuff like that, but dreams are just kind of in your head. But because when you're awake, that's when the stuff matters. That's when stuff really happens. That's when it's reality. And he said, Houston, I'm awake, so is it good to be here in a minute they run? So he was really a roundabout way of going all the way to his catchphrase about it being live in Houston and all that. So he started his promo kind of in Pipebomb style, like where he's, cross-legged and stuff like that, sitting down in the middle of the ring, funny enough, on a Slim Jim logo. But I was like, oh, are we going to get Pipebomb Punk here? Because he's kind of in the Pipebomb position, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, he rolls out to the ring and he does this whole promo standing on the announce desk, and he does the thing, where he takes the WWE Raw, logo that's on the mic. He takes it off, and basically letting you know it's about to get real. And the first thing he did was go in on Roman Reigns. I'm not going to get it right as far as the order, but he was going in on Roman Reigns, saying that you basically brag about the fact that, you were on like a Jimmy Fallon, and I wasn't. But the reason why you're on Jimmy Fallon is because you're soft, you're safe, and you're plastic, and you're boring. You know what I'm saying? They put you on shows like that because basically they know you'll say all the clean baby mush, right stuff. I'm adding words now. All the right stuff. But with CM Punk, because he's unpredictable, because he's dangerous, because he's polarizing, you never know what he's going to do, and you never know what he's going to say and stuff like that. And he was telling Roman Reigns that, you know what, you hate me, but that's fine, because that means I know I'm doing something right as the champion. But I just realized, I haven't gotten a chance to tell the crowd, tell the people why I hate Roman Reigns. I hate Roman Reigns, or he said Roman Reigns hates him because he doesn't sacrifice his authenticity to be accepted. You know what I'm saying? And he hates Roman Reigns because he's not a guy that had to basically earn his, sharpen his tools. Like Punk said, I sharpened my tools. I was, I struggled and put in all the work and all the self-belief and all the hard work that I put in. I got here on my own. I did this by myself. I didn't have my dad, get me a job in WWE because I sucked at football, which if those who don't know, Roman did play football, and he actually went on to do wrestling after he had whatever situation of how he didn't make it in the football. I don't know exactly what was the reason, but he ended up not being a big star in football, and that was what he was doing. Funny enough, just like my boy Rock, that he ended up bringing up in this promo. But yeah, it didn't end up doing well in the football area and moved on to wrestling. So yeah, he made fun of him for that. And then another line he said was, what'd he say? You're a guy that used to eat dog food for a weird old man, which is obviously pointing at 2019 when he had that awful story where he was having to eat dog food and stuff like that. It's just not a good memory. Just not good memories. Not the good days of WWE. But obviously he's talking about Vince when he says the weird old man. And he said that same weird old man treated me like a dog and expected me to smile, but I left this company because I had FU money. So basically I wasn't taking none of the BS and nonsense that he was trying to, make me do and all that type of stuff, basically saying that Roman Reigns took it. And he was also saying that Roman Reigns, if anybody else were in his position he said, he told Roman, you can brag about all the WrestleMania main events that you've had, but if any of us were in your position where we failed our career in all those main events we had in those first 8 years as a singles talent, if we had done as bad and as awful as you did in those main events, then a lot of us would have been fired. We would have been blackballed by now. But, saying that, and then Punk said, but you can't lowball me because, basically that nobody can tell him what to do, and that, nobody controls me, you know what I'm saying? Like how you, and you can't control me like how you control some of these people because they're chanting OTC and they'll boo Punk when they say that Roman's not there. And, like you've controlled your cousins, all that other type of stuff, you can't control me. So he was basically going in on the fact that because the company so badly wanted Roman Reigns to become a star, it didn't matter that he had all those terrible WrestleMania main events. In the first 8 years of his career, he couldn't figure it out as far as how to become the big star tribal chief that he is now. He's basically saying if anybody else was in that position where we like had all those awful WrestleMania main events like you had and tried to get over with the audience for like 8 years straight, a lot of us, if we weren't you, we would have been fired. Like, but they wanted so badly to get you with the fans and all that good stuff. So he basically took a corporate, or I should say, a public enemy number one shot on the big dog days of Roman Reigns. I'm trying to think if he went in on him in any other way other than saying that, yeah, I don't have my, he said, I don't have my bloated cousin running around here, to, shield me away from the truth about myself, you know what I'm saying? And said, you walk around backstage with your chest puffed out almost like you're The Rock. Now, I don't know if that was just a throwaway line or if my boy Rock gonna come back, but I'm gonna be the first one to support. But anyway, he said, yeah, a man who, at least he's actually a Hollywood movie star or was a Hollywood movie star. I think he's probably pointing at the fact that some of his movie projects didn't, all go crazy at the box office, but we move on. We fail in life, certain things. It is what it is. Whatever. Move on. So then, after he was done, basically burying Roman Reigns and showing that there was new layers to this feud, because a lot of us kind of felt this feud was taking a dip, but that pipe bomb he did, it really rejuvenated the feud. Like, when the feud, by the way, wasn't bad, but it's just after those first 3 weeks where they did those two great face-to-face promos, and then the moment or the segment that Punk did with the Usos, that was great. Then when it started getting to your old stuff, it wasn't a bad line, but it wasn't enough to be like, okay, that's going to elevate this feud, right? Especially after he mentioned Roman Reigns' father being, deceased. It kind of was like, that's the next line the next week is, calling Punk old, you know what I'm saying? So I actually hope Roman retaliates, because he was literally spending the first, I don't know how long this promo was, but the first half of it literally was just him burying Roman Reigns in whatever way he saw possible, which, I mean, knowing CM Punk is the wordsmith of and all this, like as far as in wrestling in general, he's, known to be a wordsmith. I didn't think he ran out of bullets when it came to the verbal side of things. I didn't think he ran out of things to say to Roman Reigns, and this pipe bomb promo proved it. So, because a lot of us felt when they kind of cut in deep on each other, we thought, oh man, they must have used all their best material early on. But he proved that, hey, I still got material. I don't think I ran out of words to say. But moving on, last thing he said was what a lot of the fans, including myself, we're not a big fan of, and that's Pat McAfee being the one on the phone with Randy Orton and now collabing and aligning himself with Randy Orton in this story, which is ridiculous that Cody and Randy, two top guys with 20 years of history amongst each other, multi-time world champions, of all people, they need Pat McAfee. Two of the best storytellers in the company need Pat McAfee to make their story more interesting because of ticket sales not being where they want them to. Which, yeah, shocker, your ticket sales aren't too high, or your ticket sales aren't doing as good because, shocker, when you run the same venue that you did last year for WrestleMania where the tickets are going to be at their highest, surprise, the tickets might not be as much as last year. What a shocker. But anyway, he said, what he said, I think he called Pat McAfee, he said, you buggy arm whipped hillbilly, you basically got another thing coming if you think you're going to come into my company and basically, get on the people like Cody and get on the people like Punk or whatever and stuff like that, and saying that, how about you, Pat McAfee, you go tell, I think he was like, oh no, I think at first he was like, no. I'm trying not to say it out of order. I think what he said to Pat McAfee after he insulted him was, you call up that little agent that you got in your ear, talking about Ari Emanuel, who's pretty much the head of TKO, and which owns obviously WWE. And he says, you call him up, the guy who, shoehorned you into this WrestleMania, and you go tell the agents over there at TKO to lower the ticket prices. And that was the big line, because I ain't gonna lie, funny enough, I don't know if I said this on camera, I might have said it off camera, but I was actually one of those people that said, especially when TKO started getting like, pretty greedy with the ticket prices and the and now inserting Pat McAfee into this allegedly to sell more tickets for many. I think Pat McAfee's gonna do it because they think so highly of him. After all, even before like the Pat McAfee thing, when it just came to people saying the tickets prices were going high, I always said, hey man, if CM Punk ever wanted to kind of bring, because CM Punk at his best is when he's doing the Stone Cold thing, as far as when he's the one fighting against the Authority. That is when you will see the best promos come out of CM Punk, which we saw here. Probably the best promo he's done since he's been back, and one of the best promos he's done in general in this whole segment. But I was like, hey, if there was ever a time for Pipebomb Punk to come back, there it is. You can now get on the TKO, man, for their business practices. So I said, hey, Punk, if there was ever a time to do it, is now, with all these complaints about TKO and the stuff they've been doing. And boy, oh boy, he decided to make that day today. You know what I'm saying? But I even said it like months ago, like if Punk ever wants to bring back that pipe bomb, TKO is the people now you can be angry at. So yeah, Punk being the man of the people, the crowd cheered pretty loudly when he in Houston, Texas, when he told about the lowering the ticket prices. He said, I want you to lower the ticket prices so I can see all the families and all these people, see me, beat up Roman Reigns. And you can't talk to CM Punk of all people about selling tickets and putting asses in seats. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't talk to CM Punk of all people about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then he said, "Hey, my name, I'm gonna beat Roman Reigns. I think he said, I want all the families there so they can see me step on Roman's neck and retain the World Heavyweight Championship. And that his name is CM Punk, and he approves of this message." So that boy threw that mic down. I think I recapped that the best I could have. I ain't gonna hold you. I'll give myself a pat on the back. I don't think I could, like, that was off the dome. Like, that was no notes or nothing. I think I recapped that the best you could have. Granted, cheat sheet, I did watch the segment a couple times. So that it could be a little more fresh in my brain and I can remember things. But might have missed a couple lines here and there. But ultimately, that's what the promo was. It was a great, hot promo to start the show. And hey, like I said, when in doubt, never fear bringing that pipe bomb out. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, CM Punk even in the promo said, like, hey, people have been asking me for a pipe bomb, because that's what everybody wants from him, because they know that's him at his best. And they asked for a pipe bomb, but they don't know what that means, because, like, this is what you're gonna get, you know what I'm saying? And that was after he had already freaking ripped apart Roman to shreds. Last thing I'm gonna say in this video is I actually really hope Roman, and it's funny because I was saying this in the feud, as far as they need to do more promos now that they've gotten to that point where if they see each other, they're gonna fight. I feel like they're doing what I had suggested, in this having promos where they're just talking and no one else is around. Like, as in, do those promos where Punk is talking to the people, but he's going in on Roman Reigns, and have Roman have a segment by himself where he's just going in on Punk. Because since they're at this point now where if they see each other, they're going to brawl, I think as a way to build the story and not, have them just do another face-to-face promo, because that always be reverting backwards from them having to, be mad at and fighting at each other when they see each other. Just having them go out there and do promos when the other person ain't there, or they're not there yet, or they don't come out until later in the show to interrupt them or whatever. So I made that suggestion, and I'm glad they did it, because this was a fantastic promo, and it almost felt like Damage Control because of how much the fans were complaining about Pat McAfee's involvement, especially with Cody and Randy of all people. You would think they need, like, Pat McAfee to help their story out. So it also just doesn't make sense of all people to remind Orton who he is as being Pat McAfee. So after all that heat they got from the IWC, all the hate they got online, I think this was kind of WWE's way of telling. I think WWE basically told Cody, because he had a little pipe bomb of his own, but pretty much told Cody and Punk, hey, we can't control what TKO doing, but we can control what y'all do, and y'all need to go out there and tell them off. And that's what they did. And hey, either way, it makes for great television. They probably are going to turn it into a story anyway. And hey, if we can make this into a little work shoot program, I think that'd go hard, man. Hit hard in the hub. I give you the thrill of a rhino pill. But like I said, I think this was a great way to rejuvenate the Punk Roman feud after it kind of was taking a little bit of a dip. And also, it was great to give us something positive to talk about with this pipe bomb that he did. It's something great to talk about, considering it was nothing good to talk about coming out of that SmackDown last week. So yeah, especially with Melo not being on Mania, and like, it was just a SmackDown that just didn't have a lot of positive thoughts coming out of it. So I thought this was a great thing to rejuvenate the Roman Reigns Punk feud, and to get our minds off the fact that freaking Pat McAfee is in a main event of WrestleMania storyline with, again, Cody and Randy of all people. But anyway, overall it was a really good show, but the most memorable part of the show obviously was the first part and like the last part of this show. But anyway, they cooking up, man. They know they only got a week left till Mania, so hey, they doing the best they or some people are doing the best they can, and hopefully that continues. But anyway, y'all let me know if y'all are ready for WrestleMania. I will be posting clips of my reaction on the day. I don't know if I'll be live streaming it, but I will be having clips recorded to put out on social media. Anyway, see y'all in the next video, man, because at the end of the day, we're gonna say it is what it is, and what it's gonna be is a certified, legitimized, legalized prodigy. Continue to come up with the content, the bangers daily. Dose of entertainment, because I post every day, so notification bell need to be on, and I shall see you in the next one. You let me know what you thought about the segment if you watched it, you know what I'm saying, and I shall see you in the next video, man. That's the vibe that DJ's on.